Well, hey there, my friends. Laura Daniels here. Thank you for spending some time on my channel. I certainly appreciate you. Today I'm going to do a special edition of my Memory Planning Monday, and I'm going to give you a walkthrough of January, February, and March, sharing some of my thoughts, what I thought worked, what didn't work, and things I want to definitely make sure I do again. If you're interested in seeing 3 months of my Heidi Swap Memory Planner, then go grab your favorite cup of coffee, and let's get started. All right, my friends, so this starts the beginning of the year, January 2023. We had the Georgia Bulldogs playing. Happy New Year. I love having the alpha titles. Here we had a New Year's brunch with friends. This is something I enjoyed doing. It's not really, it's a pocket, but it's a pocket made onto the back of this slider right here, which I like. And I like it when I add some black and white photos. They kind of balance out all the color. Here is the second week of January. I didn't have a lot of photos, so I decided to do a currently, which would be something fun to do the beginning of each month. What we were watching, what I was reading, and I love to include history. And usually that's in black and white. And then here, this is when Lisa Marie Presley died. Moving on to the next week, I have this tip in right here, and I added a screenshot of a newspaper. And what's funny about this entire layout is it's all about family. Half of us were in the Sunshine State, and the other half was up in Maine during a blizzard. This was my daughter and son-in-law, and then my family who lives up in Maine, which was all pretty funny when you think about it. It made for an interesting layout. I love the way I've added these. Heidi Swap does some beautiful classes with some great tips in them. And here's another bit of history tied into my week. I have to say, when I was looking through this before I started filming it for all of you, it was so much fun. It was fun reliving all the memories, and this really helps me to do that. How many of you used to watch Laverne and Shirley? Leave it in the comments below. It was one of my favorites along with Happy Days. Of course, I'm sharing my age now. Am I not? This is a little window from a Heidi Swap kit. A little bit of history. My granddaughter and her 100, the day marking 100 days of school. And this was just a piece of clear acetate, and I decorated the front of it. My mom had sent that selfie when she went to the beach. And here we are in the last week of January, starting into February. And this was something fun I started doing. I'll put 3 photos going across, and then the middle will have the title and then a little note on the inside. This is something that I typed up for Facebook, and I just saved it as a photo and included it with this. This is when I started creating this Stop the Blur book. Here's another tip in. I like doing those. Whenever I do it, I like to add some sort of tab here to hold it. Then here's an envelope because I wanted to add some more. We went to a beautiful color covered bridge, and I have my notes with it. I like the way that came out. Now we're into February, and I've gone home for a couple weeks to visit family in Maine. So what's neat is I was able to add, I mean, look at how different all the weeks are. It depends on where I'm at and what's going on. So here we have Florida sunshine, here we have the winter, and here's a whole nother. This is a great way to go through all of your stash and use up all that extra ephemera that you have, the tags that you may have, the stickers, and of course, because I'm on filming, it's not going to go back in. And this is something fun that my son and daughter do. I forget what the name of this is, but every day it gives them a prompt to answer a question about my granddaughter. So they're making memories, they're making sure they write all that stuff down, and then they've added me and of course Danielle's parents in it so we can read it also, which is kind of neat. I think of all these things I wish I had done when our daughter and son were just babies growing up. Here's a Super Bowl. I wanted to make sure I kept the score. And of course I did the same thing that I did over here, where I have a tip in, flip up, whatever you want to call it. I added it right there. And here's where I started adding vellum in the center, and I just really, this has to be one of my favorites. This is when my mom and I were going on photo hunts, and if you saw this, not necessarily a plan with me, I kind of give you my thought process and then show you what I'm going to use, and I come back and show you the end result. And each of these right here, they're all posts that I had on Facebook, and I just did save the photo. I did a screenshot. And this is when we went. I love how this all came together right here. I think it looks real pretty, and this was our photo hunt. And look at the difference in the colors. You can have so much variety in your Stop the Blur memory planner. Here I just added a paper clip. And this is a bit of history about John Glenn becoming the first American to orbit the Earth. And then I added these photos of when we walked down the road to visit my niece Elizabeth and met her chickens. My mom went on a day trip, so here's another tip in. And then I have, there's nothing there. Do you ever do that? No, that is not a pocket. But this is a pocket. And this is my friend Holly went on a trip to Paris with her daughter, which is just, what an adventure to go on a girls' trip with your daughter. And my mom took another selfie going to the beach. It's been quite the year for her. She is so courageous. And then this is, I love the colors in this. It all went off of this photo of my granddaughter just waking up. And here's the rest of the story, and you can just see her yawning, getting ready to greet the world. She has such a wonderful life ahead of her. And what I like here, these are all rub-on stickers, and this was a Cocoa Daisy kit. And a lot of times I have kits, I've never used them. So this is perfect. This was kind of a tip-in on a tip-in. I guess you can call this a double tip-in. So I love how this worked right here. Makes it very interactive. Here I use some of those fringe scissors, and this is a piece of vellum. I love the way it sounds. And I did a lot of tip-ins and such on these. This is when my daughter was celebrating my birthday with me. She made it such a wonderful day. And here, instead of using vellum, I did a tip-in with a large piece of cardstock. I just love this rainbow. And so I just folded a small piece of paper and glued on both sides. And then it's a really neat tip-in with more place for photos. Here was all about, on this day in history of March 9th, Barbie makes her fashionable world debut at the New York Toy Fair. So I love all these old advertisements. I like how I did this, where it's kind of this, looks like a vine wreath is kind of wrapping around that right there. And these are some text messages that I wanted to make sure I remembered. So I did them both on tags, and this one's movable so you can read the bottom one right there. And a lot of times I'll include things that are going on in my kids' lives. Like this is my son and granddaughter, and obviously my daughter-in-law Danielle took the photo, but it was their adventure. They were just taking a walk together. And here my daughter and son-in-law were meeting some friends, Zoe, Sassy Zoe as I call her. But they're all part of the story, so I love to include them in it. This was my birthday week. I had grand jury duty, fun, 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 fun. Lots of great people. And here's another tip in. Here's a clear pocket. This was a Cocoa Daisy kit right here. And it fit in perfectly. And then I did a flap folder with another flap. I guess you could say I go a little flap crazy. And then here we had dinner with friends, and I took photos of everybody, and each one of these flips up, which was kind of cool. Let me take this off. So that made for a fun, I could have put paper up here, but it doesn't look too bad. If you get too wrapped up in all that stuff, you just stop having fun with it. And then this is still March. This is the last page I get to show you. Here's another tip in. And here I could actually do some journaling. I think I forgot to. That would have looked pretty. Just taking a walk. Here's me and my granddaughter. One of my favorite photos. Again, this is a Cocoa Daisy kit. So I've used kits from Echo Park, Simple Stories, Cocoa Daisy, and also Felicity Jane. And here we go. Look how I use this. Instead of a file tab, I just used a piece of ephemera to be what helps me to lift that up. Well, there you go. This is starting April. So if you haven't seen all of these videos yet, I believe I started filming back here in, let's see, I filmed this one. I filmed all of these back here. If you have not watched these videos, I'll include the playlist below so that you can see how these all come together. And thanks for giving me the gift of your time and following me on this journey. Be sure to give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying these videos. Leave a comment below if one of your favorite TV shows was Laverne and Shirley. Better yet, what was your favorite TV show when you were growing up? Until we meet again, my friends, have an incredible day. God bless you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.